So I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about some of the upgrades that I'm doing to my pack this year. And one of those is the shelter. So this is going to be an upgrade that I'm doing for early season up until October when it starts to get a little bit chilly out. This is what I carried last year. And this is a north face two-person tent. Just a dome tent. It's got a set of poles and stakes and an outer cover, rain fly, and all that stuff. And you can see how big this thing is. This is 5 pounds as it's packed like this. So you can shed a little bit of that weight if you ditch your stuff sacks and you minimize and you go to some ultralight stakes. I'm minimizing this thing big time this year. So this is what I'm going with this year. It's an early season. This is just a shelter. It's the Glacier Peak from 6 a.m. Outdoors. Comes in this little one of the G3 pouches from 6 a.m. And then inside of it, I've got all of my stakes. I've got all of my stakes, and these are just ultralight stakes. I bought these off Amazon. I think they're about $6. So they're nothing special. They're aluminum. I think they're going to work just great for what I'm about to do. So, and then the tarp is on the inside. So this thing weighs, with 8 stakes, this thing weighs and the stuff sack, it weighs 1 pound 2 ounces. So significant weight loss, and then obviously the size is what's really big. This is, so going down from this was last year, right? This is my sleeping pad, and this is my sleeping, or my shelter. Now this year I'll be going down to this. So significant reduction in pack size that I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to reposition the cameras and stuff, and I'm going to set this tarp up in the way that I would put it up if I was out somewhere in the backcountry and setting this thing up. Right now I'm just at one of my local parks doing this. Not out in the backcountry, unfortunately. So I'm just going to throw it up right here and see what happens. Oh, one of the things that I wanted to talk about too that makes this thing so much easier to set up is I'm also going to be using, for the poles, these are my trekking poles, right? So I'll use these as the poles to set that up. And that's what makes this easier, or such a size reduction, is because this has poles and stakes, this has everything in it. Whereas with this tarp, I can just use my trekking poles and the tarp and tie it off with the string that I've got and those ultralight stakes. So let's see how it goes. When we get it all set up, I'll use my sleeping pad to kind of show how big and spacious it is inside. I'm also going to talk about this REI. This is the REI Flash sleeping pad, and I use the large long because I'm a big dude. I'm about 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". We'll call it 6'3.5". They say 14 puffs of air will get this thing filled up. It's about right. I've done it many, many times. But we'll get this blown up, and then I'll get it stuck into the shelter here, and we'll talk a little bit about how much room's in there. 14 puffs of air. It's about like where I like it. It's not quite all the way full where it's maxed out. It's got a little sponge left to it, so it should be pretty comfortable to sleep on. Toss it in here. See how much room we got. Just wanted to do a quick walk around. This is the 6 a.m. Granite Peak Tarp. It measures 120 inches by 96 inches. And it's got plenty of tie-out loops on the side. You can run guy lines off the side. You can see here as we come around. on the end here, there's 3 tie outs. There's 1 loop on either corner, and then there's 1 right there that you can guy out for the trekking pole. And then along the side here, there's 1 on each corner, and then there's 3 additional tie outs so that you can, or stake points, I guess, so you can stake it out. And then on the sides, there's also these guy loops right here where you could guy those out if you wanted to. So plenty of ways to make this thing really puff out and be nice and big. 6 a.m. Granite Peak. I got the Marine Corps camo. Actually, I talked to Tristan out there at 6 a.m. and it just so happened that the day that I ordered this tarp, he had this color in stock, and doesn't really matter to me. Now, one funny thing that I will say is that I'm probably going to get some reflective guy line that I can put on there. Probably going to get some reflective guy line because it is a pretty effective camouflage. And I don't know, I'm going to need something that's visible, something that I could see. So anyway, you can see how much room is in there. 12 feet is a lot. So there's a significant amount of space in between my feet and the end of the tarp. This is the first time I set it up, so I kind of fumbled through it. Eventually got it. And if I wanted to, I could set it up more traditional style, and I could raise the pole in the back right there, and it would be more of a traditional style tent. So one thing I will tell you that's kind of important that you need to be aware of when you order, or if you want to order one of the Granite Peak tarps from 6 a.m., it doesn't come with any guy line on it. So if you're just going to pull it out of the pack and think you're just going to set it up out on the trailhead, you're not going to be able to do that. So you need to probably pull it out and practice once or twice. And that's what today was for me. It was a practice. And I quickly, when I got out here, I realized that I didn't have any guy line. So I had some stuff attached to my old tent that I used. I'm going to get some of that orange reflective stuff and then use that for the guy out points on either side, and then for the front and the rear also. So anyway, all right, more to come, and we'll do a quick time lapse on how it all gets set up, and then I'll climb in there and you can check it out with me on the inside. 6 a.m. Granite Peak. All right, so I got everything all set up. I'm inside here. I got tons of room, so I could easily have my bow sitting over here. My pack could be under here, and I've got about 3 feet left on the end of this thing over here, of the end of the tarp at the base. So this thing is 10 feet long. I'm going to post the sizes down below. It's a very, very big tarp. I could easily fit 2 people under here. I've got another camera going in the back that I'm going to use some footage on too, to kind of show the width and everything. But it shouldn't be any problem getting 2 people under here. Might be a little trouble with 2 people and a couple of backpacks and a couple bows or a couple of rifles. You can probably make it happen, but it's definitely perfect for what I need in this early season. Having just my backpack and my bow, or backpack and rifle, it's going to be perfect. So let me show you around the place. So like I said, it should be perfect. This should be a perfect option for just a single dude like myself when I'm out. This should be the perfect option for just a solo hunt when I'm out by myself, or even with a group of people, but just camping by myself and setting up my own shelter. There's so many different ways I could pitch this tarp. You can pitch it as a lean-to. It's big enough where you can kind of pitch it as a cave and tuck one side in and leave the other sides open. If it's a hot summer day, you can use that lean-to method where I can just set it up and use it as shade. You can fold it in half if you need to. There's a million different ways that you could set this thing up. I think this is probably how I'm going to set it up when it comes to the bear hunt coming up. That's what I bought it for. We got this upcoming Oregon bear hunt, And I just wanted to have something that I could set up real quick and real easy, and not have any issues, and have a nice comfortable place to snooze if I wanted. So let me show you around the pad. So anyway, like I was saying, there's plenty of room over here. That between my sleeping pad and that outside over there, that's about 4 feet. So there's a ton of space. I could easily throw my bag and whatever, man. I could put all kinds of stuff over there. And then there's a lot of space down here too, in between the sleeping pad and the outside. I got 2 or 3 feet down there that you could even shove a bag down there if you wanted to. So lots of space, lots of good stuff.